Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. The kickoffs are officially finally underway around the world, starting in the Chinese region, and lots of talk about exactly what the Americas is going to look like. Shanks gives his prediction as to how that tournament is going to go down, controversial to say the very least, but also Ardiis seemingly revealing which team has asked him to sub in for their roster. What roster is that going to be? Is he going to accept the situation? Very much interested in your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, I thought a nice update here from Bo, who of course has been around the scene for a very long time at this point, certainly on the tier 2 side. He's joining Apex as their social media manager. Just thought it was a nice update ready to give for you guys. Now, look, Apex are an interesting organization because they've signed Floor, and yet as it stands, they've not necessarily officially confirmed their 5th. We talked about some rumors as to who it might be yesterday. Of course, we also talked about a couple of days ago the fact that Ardiis leaked that he had a roster offer. So, of course, people wondered, okay, maybe that's what we're talking about there to Apex potentially, but doesn't seem like that's necessarily the case, as we'll get to here in a second. Big announcement though yesterday from Scary, a player with a lot of promise, a player with, for some time it felt like a bright future ahead, but unfortunately Bleed Esports came along and it seems they sucked the life out of him. So we mentioned this on stream yesterday, Tanmay reports it, and this is what he had to say. He explained that his decision was driven by both personal and physical challenges. He reflected on the sacrifices that he made over the years, spending extended periods away from his family, missing out on time with loved ones. Moreover, he has been battling a recurring shoulder injury that has not fully healed, despite medical treatment and physical therapy. The persistent pain resurfaced every time he resumes training, making it increasingly difficult to perform at a high level. So that's really sad to hear, because we do see this, I would say, increasingly nowadays. Esports players suffering with various, physical ailments, whether it be carpal tunnel related stuff in the wrist, whether it be something in, the thumbs, or obviously as we're discussing here, like the elbows and the shoulders or whatever certain players have suffered with. So yeah, very sad to hear about that. But a player who had a great tenure on teams throughout his career in VALORANT, obviously with X10 and Xerxia, wow, those are names that really bring me back, of course. And then most recently, Bleed Esports, and unfortunately that was pretty much going to call the end. So yeah, sad to hear about. I thought it was funny that this was spotted as well. So with the team capsules that are now in the game, we see 100T, we see all the other ones, BLG, All Gamers, BBL, etc, etc. But in the background here, you have all of the team logos, and you can actually still see the Bleed Esports logo in the background. Like Riot obviously had this graphic designs maybe before Bleed Esports were kicked out of the league, and they brought in Boom Esports instead. So yeah, they're living on for now. Bleed Esports are still appearing in the game, but of course the reality is they no longer really exist, and we probably could have seen that coming to some degree. Let's talk briefly about what's happening in China. The kickoffs are officially underway. If we go to the events, we shall find that we have upcoming the EMEA kickoff, the Americas kickoff, and the Pacific kickoff shortly after that. But as of this morning, the China kickoff is officially underway. This is the way that the bracket is playing out over there so far. We've got a couple of games to have a look through for you guys, starting with this one. Tai Lu going down to the Titan Esports Club in a 2-0 fashion. Slowly was 43-30, but it wasn't enough in the end. A pretty close fought series, 13-11 on the Fracture, and then 13-10 on the Abyss on Tai Lu's pick. RB, of course, notably on this Titan Esports Club team, player who used to play for DRX, of course, a couple of years ago, and then, well, he was released from the team pretty much this time last year, really, has joined this roster and has had some reasonable success with them, it seems, so far. So yeah, he was topping the scoreboard in terms of ACS. Titan Esports Club get the job done in the first round, and the other game that's just got underway is Gili Gaming versus Wolves Esports, and currently it's 4-3 in favour of Wolves as it stands. So early days in this tournament, of course, but yeah, the teams with the buys, Billy, FPX, Trace Esports, and then of course your Edward Gaming. So it's going to be FPX Titan Esports Club in the next round. Tai Lu already locking in their spot to round 1. Let's not forget, this tournament, what really matters is getting top 2. If you get top 2, you qualify for Masters Bangkok. So that's the plan. If you're Edward Gaming, for example, you've got to win 1, 2, 3 series to lock in your spot. And that's the same with the other teams that have the bye. If you don't have the bye, you've got to win 4 series in a row at least, because if you go down to losers, like Tai Lu have to win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-0, whatever it is anyway, to get through to get to Masters Bangkok. But I think for Tyloo, that is pretty unlikely as the way that things stand. So we'll keep you guys updated on that, of course, over the coming days. But let's talk about some of the other discussion with the other events happening around the world as well. Thought this is a funny new arc here from Zeltis. Know that he's tried his best, of course, to sell some bundles, and he's gone for his Jordan Belfort arc, and he's going to come up with this new advert here, sell the bundle, together we can make millions, he says. So I thought this is pretty well done, actually, and he's been replying this to like every single thing. So I know the bundle this year probably isn't causing quite the stir that it did last year, but still, Sen bundle lives on some level, and here are some of the memes, of course, that we've seen over the last year or so. This one was pretty funny as well. It's a Sentinels bundle ad, and he was even tweeted about this. The player card has never looked so good. Wow. Narrate, Zelsis, Zekken, John QT, Bang, Coach Kaplan. So yeah, there's your team of 5. They're grinding hard, of course, getting ready to go for the Americas kickoff, of course, with everything that's happening in LA. We did discuss yesterday that delays were possible, but I think that things will probably be okay, one would hope at least, for the kickoff in Los Angeles to get underway in just a couple of days' time. Sentinels will be considered to be one of the favourites, but in the off-season, they didn't have as good of an off-season this year as they did last year. There's questions on how much are they missing TENS, how much are they missing Sassy, but based on their scrum results over the last few days, we haven't seen many, but we saw them play TSM, we saw them play Cloud9, and they were winning both of those maps relatively comfortably. So there's a feeling that Sentinels should be competitive, but how competitive will they be? Because the Americas is a particularly challenging region from top to bottom. We don't really know, I think, in the Americas, certainly this season, what we should expect from the Brazilian teams and from South America in general. It's been all change over there. Loud were considered for some time, understandably, to be a real force, but Sarak is gone, Les is gone, Sassy is retired, Aspas is now long gone. So, Loud aren't what they used to be. They've got Pancada, but they're not what they used to be. MRBR is Aspas, but it's Aspas and friends kind of thing. Leviathan, they have lost Aspas. They still have some talent. They've got Demon 1 there now, but in practice, it's not been looking great based on the results that we've seen. And also, you've got to wonder about the chemistry going on there with that Leviathan roster, because I'm not sure I'm fully confident it's going to be great. You've got 2Game coming in from the Ascension side. I think they look kind of promising. Furia, they've got some talents, but again, there's a question on that. So I think the Brazilian, South American teams, some question marks. In North America, you've got Cloud9, who everyone are going to clown on, especially if they lose. EG have got Ye back in business. Obviously, Sentinels, NRG, G2. Those are going to be some of your big, heavy favourites. So I wanted to share what Shanks had to say in terms of predicting who's going to come out on top. He had a few interesting names, and look, he goes through it pretty quickly, doesn't give too much reasoning, but yeah, Treater, your thoughts on his perspective in the comment section below. Then I'm going to share what Ardiis had to say on his next venture.
Show NA pick'ems? Okay, let me show you my NA pick'ems.
Let's go Banks or him BRO.
Where's NA? When does NA play? Okay. EG will beat... Ooh, pick'ems. EG will beat Loud. EG will beat Crew. We're going to see Sentinels versus 100 Thieves again. Sentinels versus EG. EG is going to beat Sentinels. EG is in the upper final. No cap. NRG, Furia. Actually, I think 2Game. I'm going to pick 2Game. I'm going to pick 2Game for this Furia game. No cap. I'm going to pick 2G. Leviathan, NRG will beat G2. NRG is going to beat Leviathan. NRG versus EG. I think NRG is going to make it to the grand finals here for sure. Loud will beat 2G. G2, G2, G2. 100 Thieves versus Cloud9. It's kind of a 50-50. I'm not going to lie. 100 Thieves, Crew, 100 Thieves, 100 Thieves will beat Leviathan. And low key, I think 100 Thieves versus G2. And G2 and NRG. Damn, like EG is going to be 1 game away, like no cap. But I think G2 and NRG are going to qualify, in my personal opinion. That's what I think. Am I unbanned yet or no?
We can't. Oh shit, chat. You don't even see it, bro. You don't even see it, chat. You don't even see it. Chat, but like, how do I leak it without making it obvious? Without making it obvious, chat. Without making it obvious, chat. Without making it obvious.
So if you guys saw in the bottom left-hand side, it was pretty evident that Ardiis came out and he typed in Giant X, right? So of course we were theorizing. Ardiis said the other day on stream that kind of maybe to the surprise of even himself, someone reached out to him to say, hey, do you want a spot to at least sub in for the VCT for now? And he was like, well, you know, maybe not the worst idea in the world. We were speculating who it could be, but it's definitely interesting timing here, right? Because Giant X play in 4 days, 4 hours as a recording against BBL Esports in the EMEA kickoff. And as it stands, they have a team of 5. Cloud, who is, I think he's locked down to some like crazy long-term deal now, Purpo, Runner, Westside, and Tomasi. Of course, players, you know, relatively notable players to some extent. But maybe for whatever reason that we're not necessarily aware of, they are either not looking so good, they want to consider an immediate change, or they're thinking about there's some sort of issue that they've got to deal with, and therefore something might need to happen. Of course, you know, with players in various different countries, visa problems can always potentially cause some concern, whereas Ardiis should be good to play. So, yeah, that apparently is where Ardiis might be contemplating, or at least had an offer to potentially go forward with. We'll see if that goes through. If he does play for Giant X, I imagine it's only going to be for the short term, but could you imagine the storylines if, you know, they turn up to the EMEA kickoff and all of a sudden Giant X with Ardiis in there and making a serious run. They start against BBL in the first round. If they win that, they play Fnatic. So it's obviously a massively uphill battle. But yeah, this Giant X team, I kind of like some of the players they've put together. They've got some dark horse potential this season. But look, they need to step up significantly from last year if they want to really level up. So Ardiis hasn't said any more on it yet, but intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Just thought this is a little bit interesting actually, because he tweeted this out the other day. I need a duo who's grinding ranked in EU. Where you guys at? And it was actually Purpo from Giant X who was the top response, and that was a couple of days ago now. So yeah, take that as you will if you want to at all, but very much intrigued to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.